Hey guys, CryptoDad here again. Thanks for joining me for the 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time live Q&A in LA. Thanks for joining me. Throw out any questions that you may have or just hang around for the discussion. Welcome, and let's get going. All right, so let me pop out the chat here, see who's here. Shahid, thank you. Scott Lee. Scott Lee's on sabbatical. He's house sitting, and I think he said he would be out of range or something like that. So he gave it his best, and he said he'll be back. He's going to be out for about a month, I guess. So we'll all miss Scott. Chadwick, hello from the USA. Thanks for joining us again. Gustav from Denmark, thank you. Grand Illusion from Idaho, nice to have you here. Celtic FC fan from Michigan, very nice. My home state is Indiana, so we're Midwesterners. Betty A is here. Thanks for using your notification to your advantage. That's cool. Yeah, it's weird. Sometimes the notifications work, sometimes they don't. Thanks for the yeah. I recorded that intro a while back, and it was longer. And then I was watching other YouTubers, and I noticed that their intros were much shorter. You know, like 2 or 3 seconds sometimes. So I think that one was probably originally like 10 or 12 seconds long. So I shaved it down to like 6 or 7 seconds. Kalgapo, Chadwick. Hey everybody, it's good to have you guys here. So I've done some videos this week. I actually did some work, actually, crypto-wise. So let's switch over. Yeah, let's go back over here to... and if anybody ever notices the stream is kind of off, just let me know, because I can reboot the stream without disconnecting. Just reboot my software. So let's see here. Chadwick. Whoops. Hey everybody. It's good to have... sorry. Let's get rid of that window. Let's see here. What did I do? I guess I must have been doing this. Yeah. So actually, this is one of the new videos I wanted to let you guys know about. I don't know what exactly it was, maybe about a week ago or maybe before, I'm not quite sure, but I got an email from Trezor. I've always been a little bit curious about Trezor because a lot of websites, like for example, My Ether Wallet supports Trezor. So, okay. Like if you're going to view your wallet video, you've got this Trezor option here. There's support for Trezor on a lot of different websites and wallets. So I've always been curious about them, and they sent me, their marketing guy sent me a video, an email, and he asked me would I like to get information about Trezor. I was like, yeah, sure. And then he said, would you be interested in doing a video? And I said, yeah. And he said, oh, let me send you a code. And I was like, okay, it's like a discount, right? As it turned out, I went on their website and I bought 2 Trezors that he told me to buy. And when I put in the code, it went to 0. It was pretty cool. So I did a video on the Trezor 1, which I have here. And I did another video on purchasing Tron in the middle of that because the Tron interface keeps changing. They keep working on it without regard to anybody's familiarity with they just keep upgrading their website. So anyway, I did a video on how to purchase Tron because I noticed my older videos were a little bit outdated, the ones I did a few months back. And then this morning I posted another one, the Trezor T, which I've got that one here. So we can play around with that one tonight. maybe put some crypto in it or see what other cryptos it supports besides Bitcoin. I only just did Bitcoin. All right, so John is here from Southern California. Gustav has a school project in Denmark about deep dark web, and I would hear if my group could ask you some questions sometime in the next week. I've done some videos on privacy and anonymity and Tor, and I've used Tor to get on what one would call the deep web, so to speak. So I have some knowledge. I don't know if I'm an expert on that, but if you want to send me questions through the email, the CryptoDad email, or throw up questions in the comments section of some of my Tor videos, I'd be happy to try. It's always a little murky when you're dealing with questions on Tor. You know, I don't really want to make the NSA mad at me, so I try not to be too helpful. But anyway, yeah, that's fine. All right, Glenn. So he tried to update to 1.55 without first uninstalling the apps. No, Glenn. So somehow he was trying to update his firmware without removing some apps, and there wasn't room, and he did something, and he got to the point where it was asking him to reset the device. You may have inadvertently entered the PIN incorrectly 3 times. But whatever you did, if it's asking you to put in a new PIN, then you did manage to reset the Ledger device. You haven't lost anything as long as you have your 24-word recovery phrase. So I've got some decent videos. Let's see if I can get this thing to hit without giving me 50 million hits. Hey, there we go. So this video here will walk you step by step on how to reset the Ledger if you need to restore from your 24-word recovery phrase. So I am going to put that in the description, and then I'll put it in here too. I don't know which is easier for you guys. I don't know if you can click links here or not. I mean, I know I can. But that's the video on how to restore your Ledger using your 24-word recovery phrase, using Ledger Live. So a little bit nerve-wracking, but as long as you've got that 24-word recovery phrase, then you haven't lost anything. Now, if you don't have that recovery phrase, then yeah. But, you know, when you first set up the Ledger, it takes great pains at walking you through writing down that 24-word recovery phrase. And in fact, I was going to talk a little bit about 24-word recovery phrases tonight and just how important they are. So, Glenn, give it a try. See if you can dig up that 24-word recovery phrase from your original configuration and do a restore. And hopefully that'll work for you. Yeah, I don't know. Gustav is asking about the deep web and how it will evolve in the future. I'll just tell you, it's a good tool for journalists and dissidents and people, whistleblowers that need anonymity, or just normal people like you and me that value our privacy and anonymity when they're on the internet. They don't necessarily want to be tracked. And so, but the downside of it is that it's a little bit inconvenient to use. If you want to be fully secure, you have to disable a lot of features that most people enjoy on the web, like you know, functionality, interactivity, you know, JavaScript-based menus, that kind of stuff. You're basically just on the meat and bones when you're fully secure using the Tor browser. Now privacy, anonymity, but inconvenience. And so that's why I usually like to talk about the Brave browser. The Brave browser is sort of a hybrid. It's a Chromium-based web browser that blocks tracking. So it gives you a good amount of privacy so that the websites can't track you. And it does a pretty good job of blocking ads too. So but you can still use it to check your email and do a lot of normal things that you can't really do in Tor, or that you wouldn't want to do in Tor. You wouldn't want to log into the Tor browser and then go to Gmail. You're just defeating the purpose. You know, your Gmail is like a homing beacon. So the Brave browser is kind of an in-between. Now, as far as how Tor will evolve, it is getting better. They keep updating it. So, but some governments don't care for it much. They don't like people to be anonymous and private. Okay. Alan is asking, what would happen if... okay, I'll hit Joe Dirt first. He's asking about Tron and XRP and how they have such high amounts. Is it even conceivable that they would ever, hit highs? Because like Tron is down at like 2 cents, and you've got, I don't know what the supply is. Let's take a look. But it's huge. So how could it ever, be worth, $5 or $10 or $100 or $1,000 like Bitcoin when they have so many tokens in circulation? So let's take a look. So XRP, is that what you asked me about? Yeah, XRP has a circulating supply of 41 trillion. Is that it? This 1,000, 400,000, 1 million, 41 trillion. Billion, pardon me. Yeah, that's 1 million right there. And that's 163 million and 41 billion, right? We go from million to billion. And then Stellar, there's 19 billion tokens circulating supply. And then Tron is 66 billion. So, good question. I don't know what would happen, or if that is a detrimental thing as far as value goes. But you have a great point, because I mean, look at the circulating supply of Bitcoin. There's only 17 million Bitcoin in circulation right now, if there were 41 billion Bitcoin and we split the difference, then it would be worth a lot less currently. But there's ways that they could take some of this off, lock it up. So I think Justin Sun did that with Tron. He took some out of circulation. So there's ways. All right, Joe Dirt. Alan, I have a question. What would happen if my computer crashed and I had to get a new computer and typed in my password for Ledger Live? Would it affect my password at all, or would register? No, if your computer was completely crashed, then you would just reinstall Ledger Live, and it would ask you to create a new password. You give it the same password, but the point is that you would just reconnect the ledger that you were using before, and you just have to re-add the apps and re-add the accounts. But all the cryptocurrency would populate the new Ledger Live that you install on the new machine, right? You don't have to worry. Ledger Live is just a tool. All it does is access the private keys that are on the Ledger device. So as long as your Ledger device is intact, you can get yourself a new computer, reinstall Ledger Live, and just go through setting up your accounts again. Now you could back it up, but that's a little, you're overcomplicating it by doing that. It's pretty easy to just reinstall Ledger Live on a new computer and then set it up connect the ledger and set it up. In fact, I'll go back to my videos. I don't know if we can find it or not, but let's see here. I did a video when Ledger Live first came out. I did a video that basically demonstrates that process, where you're no longer using their old software, and so you just take your existing ledger and connect it and set it up in Ledger Live. So that's what you would do. You would just install it on a new computer and then set it up the way I do in this video. I think I'm almost there. I never thought it would be a problem that I did too many videos. We're getting close. Yes, this one. All right, I actually should have just done most watched videos because it's got quite a few views. So this video walks you through that whole process. Save changes there. Do that. Paste. So that video would show you how you would install Ledger Live clean on a new computer and just take your existing ledger and set it up. That's all you need to do. Everything's on the ledger. Everything you need is on the ledger. The Ledger Live is just a tool. Okay. What would happen if my computer... Just a quick question. Okay, we got that. How many accounts, platforms do you need access to? How many do you have? I was told to have accounts at multiple exchanges. Is that something you would recommend? Well, my thing about exchanges is they're good tools, but don't store your crypto on the exchange unless you're planning on trading right away. So if you watch most of my videos, we'll go on an exchange to buy a cryptocurrency that we need or want, and then we'll just move it onto our wallet. Now you can have multiple wallets if you feel like you might lose one wallet, right? You could have multiple wallets. You could have multiple ledgers. You know, I've got a couple of ledgers, and I'm gonna end up with one more when the new Ledger X comes. And I could spread my cryptocurrency across all three of them. I could make all three of them mirrors so that they all have the same wallets in case one of them gets lost or stolen or destroyed. You could do that instead of just putting all your eggs in one basket, so to speak. But as far as the cryptocurrency exchanges, you only need ones that you like and are convenient for you. I've got Coinbase, Bittrex, and Binance, and those are the big three that I use. I've signed up for others, but I don't use them that often. So I wouldn't recommend, you know, having 8 or 9 different cryptocurrency exchange accounts and then spreading crypto that you own across them. I would just move everything you've got to private wallets and then use whatever method you want to keep them organized and redundant, however you want to handle that. Video buffering. I have a video buffering problem. Oh, that's you. Do you know when mnemonic phrases were first used and in what year? That's an intriguing question. Mnemonic phrases have been around for quite some time. You know, the word mnemonic is, you know, an English word, I guess. Maybe it's French. But it's just a device that we use to remember things, right? So I don't know if that's a trick question or if it's about cryptocurrency. But I would venture to guess, I'll say year 1850. I don't know. They've probably been around much longer than that. Cold wallet for BSV and BCH. Well, you can hold Bitcoin Cash in the Ledger, and I'm sure they'll be adding BSV support soon. All right, so if we go to Ledger, the Ledger X is coming next month, and or in March, and you can pre-order it if you want. There's a link here at in the description. I can't even think of the word for it now. Whatever it is, it's my link. You can click it and buy a Ledger, and they'll give me a commission. My affiliate link. But if we go to crypto assets, they'll tell us that they support Bitcoin Cash, but not BSV at the moment. I don't believe they support it yet. So those are the Ledger is one of the best cold wallets you can get, and then or you could print yourself a paper wallet. That's a cold wallet too. Any wallet that stores private keys offline would be considered a cold wallet. You can also do it with an air-gapped computer, but it's a little involved, right? Betty A. I pulled up Brave browser, but it's like a new computer. Nothing has my password, YouTube, blah blah blah. Yeah. What you're going to need to do, Betty, is you're going to need to import your old bookmarks so that it will look like your other browser. So like, let's say you were using Chrome, you had all these bookmarks, right? When you go to Brave, you would go to settings, or I'm sorry, you can go to bookmarks and open up the bookmark manager. You see it here too. It's actually the easiest way is to get here. Import bookmark and settings, and they'll give you different browsers. So if you have one of these browsers installed on that computer, you should be able to import them into the Brave browser so that you'll have your bookmarks. Now, as far as passwords are concerned, if you've got all your passwords stored in your browser, you'll probably need to re-enter them in Brave, and then I believe Brave will let you save them too. Right? Just like Chrome does. So, but you'll have to sort of recreate that in the new browser. I don't think there's any way to import passwords from another browser. Or if you want, you can look into getting a password manager like I use. I use 1Password. There's others like Dashline, and I don't know all the big ones, but I like 1Password. And that's independent of your browsers. You know, there's a desktop version of it, and it syncs to your phone. So anytime you install a brand new browser, all you got to do is install the 1Password extension, and then it syncs up with all the passwords you have stored in your password manager. So, but I know it's not really totally secure to store all of your passwords in your browser, but it's better than using the same password over and over again. So if you've got multiple passwords and you've got them stored in your browser, you're doing better than most people. But technically it's more secure to use one of these password managers because they use stronger encryption to protect your passwords if someone were to gain access to the computer. And then also, if you've got good malware protection and virus protection, then you're pretty much safe even if you've got your password saved in your browser. How do you think the internet would change if Tor got deleted or closed? That's a good question. You know, like I said, some governments don't like it. China is probably trying to shut it down. I would think that the internet would become more and more of less of a free exchange of information if Tor disappeared. People would not be able to express their opinions without fear of retribution, right? Everyone would know that they're being watched, so no one, everyone would be too scared to express their opinions if Tor disappeared. You know, a lot of people, they don't care that you know, Microsoft or Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn are tracking them and know more about them than, you know, probably their best friend knows about them. But you know, some people try to stay anonymous and private on the internet, and if they lost that, it wouldn't be as there wouldn't be that free exchange of ideas that what founded the internet. What do I think of Ledger X? I bought one, and as soon as I get it, I'll let you know. My first visit. Glenn, thanks for being here. I just made $25 since you went live selling Bitcoin. Buying from Bit.io. Use Bittrex is a USA company selling Bitcoin at YoBit.io. YoBit.io is the highest price for Bitcoin. Well, yeah, it's a little too much spam there, Chadwick. Do you pension CDAD to the Tron mobile wallet notifications? They're talking about a new airdrop. What does it mean? I guess they're not giving you any free TW coin. Yeah, I have an opinion about the Tron wallet. We'll talk about it. Let me go through a little bit of the news just to fill the time up, because we jumped right into questions there, didn't we? Oh, we're on Brave here. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was there was a question earlier about what happens if my computer crashes, what happens if I lose my ledger, that kind of stuff. Everything is stored in that 24-word recovery phrase. So I just wanted to point out a couple of things to you. There's a company called BitFold. BitFold? Yeah. Or BitFold? I don't know how you pronounce it, right? But what they're making are these stainless steel recovery phrase holders. And then they got some, you know, some testimonials, some horror stories. The guy had his wallet backed up with a 24-word recovery phrase on paper, and there was a flood, and he lost it, and he lost all his crypto, or a lot of it, right? So, but it brings up an interesting point, you know. The 24-word recovery phrase is the wallet in many, many ways. It's just a English representation of the master key, and that master key is, you know, like a 256-bit key. It's, you know, this really long key, but it's the heart of the wallet. All of the other wallets are derived from that key. So if you lose everything, you can just use that 24-word recovery phrase to restore. So there's some interesting ways to hold that 24-word recovery phrase. You might want to check this company out if you're interested. It's not cheap, right? I was like, man, can I get one for 40 bucks? No. $79.95 for just the single, right? The 2-pack is $150. You know, they're not cheap. Stainless steel. And then Trezor sells them too. Trezor has one called the Crypto Steel, and you can see here that, you know, it's going to take some doing to get the words in there. But once you get them in there, you know, this thing is safe, right? You can store it anywhere, and it'll withstand fires and floods. But this thing isn't cheap either. It's 131 euros, right? So you really have to be serious about your backup phrases to do this. Now, there's a cheaper way to do it. You could just write it on paper and store it in 50 different places, right? Just make sure nobody finds it. But you could store one in your garage, behind a picture, at your brother's house, at your parents' house. You know, you don't even have to tell them, you know. You could give them a picture, you know, and then have the thing stuck behind there in case, you know, all hell breaks loose and you lost all your backup phrases. You go over to your brother's house and say, you know what, I stuck a piece of paper behind that picture. It's got my backup phrase on there. So there's poor man's way to ensure that you don't lose your backup phrase. But I thought these were interesting, these crypto steals. I'd love to have one. Maybe I could talk somebody at Trezor into giving me one, or somebody. Ledger used to have them, but they don't. I don't know what happened. and they called it crypto steel, if I recall. So maybe Trezor bought them out. I don't know. But they used to be in their accessories, not anymore. Now they just have the ledgers. But a good idea. Good place to store. So, having said that, let's do some of the news. There was a big controversy about Ripple. I guess somebody made a report that Ripple was not as worth, his market cap wasn't as high as Coin Market Cap was saying, right? Because if you look at the market cap, it's around 13 billion. And there was a report that it wasn't that high. I'm not sure who did that. Here it is. Marassi published a report alleging that XRP's market cap could be overvalued as much as 6 billion. The report states that XRP's liquid circulating supply could be overestimated by 48%. That's just kind of in the news right now. But apparently Ripple has... well, this is just how much they sold last year. You know, when we were in a bear market. So if they sold a lot in January when the price was high, it's not worth as much then, but as it was then. But they probably got the money for it, I'm assuming. So anyway, that's kind of an interesting story about Ripple. I don't know if that's going to hurt Ripple in the long run. It may just be a blip, but a little bit of controversy around that. Has to do with the market cap of a cryptocurrency. There's a lot of controversy about the way Coin Market Cap does volume and I guess now market cap too. They state that it's usually overblown. So, but they have their own tools for figuring these things out. So interesting side notes to cryptocurrency, market cap and volume. All right. And let's see, what else we got here? News. Whoops. Always hit that. Okay. Yeah, and then our favorite blockchain Bitcoin troll. What is his name? Nouriel Roubini. Nouriel Roubini is one of the most outspoken Bitcoin bashers in the world, I guess. You know, he used to really make me angry, but not anymore. I mean, actually, I'm kind of happy that he's publicly speaking out against crypto Bitcoin again, because every time he does, he gets a little more extreme. And it's getting to the point where no one takes him seriously anymore. So, you know, he's a famous basher of Bitcoin. He says it doesn't have any value. It's not a currency. And now he's saying it's just a fancy database. And that, here's the one I really like. I don't know where it went. It's no better than an Excel spreadsheet. Now that is very naive, because anybody that knows the power of Excel, of an Excel spreadsheet, would know that an Excel spreadsheet is nothing to take lightly, right? When I was in computer science in college, there was a class called numerical analysis, and the entire class was done within Excel. Excel is a powerful programming platform. You can do magic in Excel. And so obviously this guy does not realize how powerful Excel is when he's comparing. He's just thinking of, you know, entering data into cells. And Excel does much, much more than that. Yeah, it will summation and multiplication and division, but Excel can do like advanced mathematics. It's amazing. So it's funny to me that he would compare it to Excel. Obviously, he's bashing it by comparing it to Excel. But the analogy, it doesn't fit at all. And it just reveals that he really doesn't understand Excel. And most of the people that refute him know that he doesn't really understand Bitcoin or blockchain very well either, because most of the big financial people bash Bitcoin but hype blockchain, right? They'll say, okay, Bitcoin sucks, but blockchain has promise, right? But Nuriel is bashing them both. He's like, Bitcoin sucks and blockchain sucks. And like now nobody takes him seriously. So, you know, there's crypto. These are some of the people that are refuting him. Crypto is fundamental to the future. We need tamper-proof, resilient, decentralized infrastructure if we want society to survive the digital age, right? Cryptography underlies almost everything we do, and cryptocurrency is based on cryptography, you know, complicated mathematical transformations, right? So it's not, you know, it's not like some marketing scheme or Ponzi scheme, you know. It was eggheads thought it up. It just got hyped last year. But just because it got a lot of hype last year doesn't mean that it's fundamentally unsound. It's been around for 10 years. Anyway, just thought I'd bring that up. Another Bitcoin bash from Nuriel, our famous Bitcoin basher. And then also, there was a topic, there were some articles written this looks kind of like a Bitcoin bashing article. It was a report from JPMorgan about blockchain and cryptocurrency, and basically they're saying it's not ready for prime time, but it doesn't discount blockchain or Bitcoin really. The banks, of course, the banks don't like cryptocurrency because it is a competing ecosystem to their model, right? Their model is top-down centralized, and they're the ones at the top making all the rules, and they are the ones that have all the money, so of course they don't approve of a decentralized, you know, money system for all, right? They like their system better because it makes them rich. Just saying. Okay, now we need to dive into some moving of Bitcoin, but let me see what everyone has said here. Yeah. Guess their Sailor Delife says, guess they're saying cryptos aren't cheap to own, LOL. Yeah, I mean, if you've got, let's say, even if you've got $10,000 worth of cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, it would behoove you to go ahead and spend $150 on a crypto steal that would keep your backup safe. Sure, why not? Alan is there again cheerleading for me. I appreciate it, Alan. Dr. Doom, yeah, Nuriel, Dr. Doom. Grand Illusion. Masiej, that's an interesting name. Sounds Swedish or Norwegian. Hello. Masiej Krenk. Thanks for joining us. Okay, Gustav, are there any way that me and other of my group mates could get an interview with you over Skype or something like that? It's 3 at night in Denmark right now, but maybe we could talk in the morning or evening. I'm not a huge fan of Skype, but we'll talk. Send me an email. thecryptodad@gmail.com. If you want to send me an email, that's a good email. Yeah, Excel can do all kinds of cool stuff. Yeah, and he hasn't been bashing XRP lately. But it is blockchain. And so, even though it's a private blockchain, he's probably not going to win any friends over at Ripple either by bashing blockchain technology. Tried to go to settings on Ledger Nano for Stellar, and I get hash signing what does that mean? That's a good question. I've never seen that before. Well, when you move Stellar around, there's a memo field that you can use that you don't need if you're just moving it to your personal wallet. But there are places where you might want to move Stellar, like you might want to deposit it in your Bittrex account, and they have memo fields. That means that they have kind of a bucket wallet with like a main address, and the memo fields will differentiate the different people that have put things in that wallet address. But when you just move Stellar to your own wallet, you don't need the memo field. So hash signing in Stellar, well, signing is a cryptographic thing. It's a function that you can do in cryptography where you send someone a coded message and you digitally sign it with your signature. Yeah, and so if I send an encrypted message and I sign it with my signature, someone that has my public key can decrypt it. But cryptocurrencies use kind of the same thing. They've got a public or private public key pair, right? So hash signing is a way to verify the transaction or the wallet address. When you send Bitcoin out, you need to provide your private key, which signs the transaction. So I'm not sure what you need that for inside the Ledger settings, though. You can use the default settings and still buy and move Stellar lumens back and forth on your Ledger. So it's not a deal breaker. You can just leave it at its default value. I didn't really notice that it had that. Graham Forum from Australia, good to have you here. Thanks for your clear explanations. Bruce, you're welcome. Thank you. How does multi-signature signing work? John Admonson is asking about multi-signature signing. Basically, it's like, do you remember those movies where did anyone ever see Red Crimson Tide with Denzel Washington and Gene Hackman? And they were on the nuclear submarine. Okay, when a nuclear submarine wants to launch its missiles, right? There are two keys, right? There's a key. The captain has a key on the bridge, and then the guy over in engineering has another key, right? And they cannot launch the nuclear missiles unless both people turn their key, right? That's a multi-key lock, right? So, and it protects the nuclear missiles from just one guy being able to launch a nuclear missile from a nuclear sub, right? It's a fail-safe. So cryptocurrency wallets have that same concept built in. You can have a multi-signature wallet, and it's a wallet that you can store cryptocurrency in. Let's just, for our example, use Bitcoin. You can put Bitcoin in there, but when you set the wallet up, you've got multi-signatures. So if two people no one can move funds out of the wallet unless both people provide their key, right? Just like the nuclear sub keys. But in this case, their keys are their private keys that they've got stored on their computer. So they can approve a transaction to go to point A to point B, but then the other person with the other key has to also approve that transaction for it to go through. So it can be used when you're dealing with like markets, like on the deep web. There are some markets that use multi-signature where the buyer and the seller, and I think maybe the people that run the market, they have a key, so that the buyer puts the Bitcoin in the wallet, and the seller has to approve the transaction and send the item before the other person, like the shop, will turn their key. So it's kind of a way to put the Bitcoin in escrow, and then the the buyer won't release his key or use his key until it's been confirmed that the item has shipped to him, right? Let's say he's buying, I don't know, a box of Oreos, right? He goes on the deep web and he wants to buy a box of Oreos, and the seller, because he can't see the seller and they don't know each other and they don't trust each other, they use a multi-signature wallet to make sure that both parties are happy before the transaction actually goes through, right? Otherwise, you're just sending your Bitcoin to someone with no guarantee that they're ever going to ship anything back to you. So a multi-signature wallet can solve that little puzzle for you. And then you can have more than two. You could have like 3 or 4 people multi-signature, so that 4 people have to approve the transaction before the wallet opens or unlocks. That's a very simplistic explanation of what a multi-signature wallet is. But you can do it with the Bitcoin, I don't think I have it on here, Electrum. Yeah, here we go. The Electrum Bitcoin wallet will allow you to create. Let me just log into this. All right, so let's say I want to create a new wallet. We'll call this one multi. Whoops. See here, you instead of a standard wallet, we choose a multi-signature wallet, right? But the other person has to be involved. See, we got 2 cosigners, 3 cosigners, 4 cosigners. You got 4 cosigners and it needs 2 signatures. That's kind of cool. Or we could say, no, I guess not. 5 cosigners requires 2 signatures. So if 2 out of the 5 people approve it, it's like a joint checking account, if you want to even get simpler. But setting the wallet up is not, right? So it's just, here, I'm going to create the seed. But even after I create my piece of it, there's someone else needs to be involved, right? It won't let me do that. Okay. All right. Okay. I know tricks around this. If I paste it into a document, pooies. Oh well. I screwed it up. Let me get a new seed. It doesn't like you to cut and paste seeds like that, because that's just they want to know that you actually know what the seed is, right? So when you go to the next screen, it clears your it clears out your doggone it, your that temporary place in your computer where it stores your cuts and pastes. I can't think of the word right now. All right, so I put it in a text document, and now I'm going to paste it back in. All right, so now it lets me get through. There's a master key, and then, okay, now we got the cosigner, right? Cosigner's got to enter his key because he set up the same wallet somewhere else. It's complicated, right? Too complicated. You got to have a couple of people that know what they're doing to get one of those set up. Let's see. Yes. Thank you, Gregory. I appreciate that. Thank you, Sailor to Life. Did you buy Big Green? So, I got this Trezor, and I did a video, and but I didn't like the cable that came with it. Was way too short, because I need to move over to the side table to do my video. I set up a camera over there, overhead camera, so that I can do box unboxings and opening. This thing's pretty cool. It's like a little clamp. It clamps on the table, and then the other side I can screw a webcam onto it, and it's got a, you know, a bendy thing. So I use it when I need to video from above, and I need both my hands. It's pretty cool. Anyway, so I got this thing, and we can take a look at it. It's a Trezor, and it's a new one. It's their Model T, and it's, you can see it's like a touch screen, and there are no buttons on it. So if you look at their old one, it has the 2 buttons that you come to expect on a hardware wallet, just like the Ledger has 2 buttons, right? And the buttons are for you know, menu navigation and confirmation. But the Trezor is all touchscreen, so that's kind of cool. Which I believe, I don't know about the Ledger Nano X. I don't think it has buttons, or I may be wrong. I think the buttons are, you can't really see it right there. I'm pretty sure it still has buttons. Oh, I think maybe there's 1 button in the middle there. I could be wrong. That looks like a button. I will let you guys know when I get it. But anyway, this guy is all touchscreen. It's pretty cool. So all we do is we go to, I think I bookmarked it. No. Oh, that's, okay. I bookmarked it earlier. Yeah, there it is. So I don't get phished, right? So this thing is all set up, and there's an account, and you'll notice there's some Bitcoin in there, right? So if you watched that video earlier that I did today, I show you how to buy some Bitcoin on Coinbase and then move it in here. So while we're here and we got this thing going, let's try something else, right? Let's, for the heck of it, let's do something easy. Let's do Litecoin. Let's see what happens. All right, so it wants me to connect the Trezor, which I've already done. Note, Litecoin changed the format of addresses. Sending an address to an address with 3. Ugh. Sending a transaction to an address starting with a 3. Convert it first to an address starting with an M. Sending your Litecoins to your Trezor M. M address refused. Convert it to 3. Okay. All right. So I've seen this before. Now, it's funny, you know, I just switched it over and it just created this empty account on Litecoin. It's a lot different than the Ledger Manager, which makes you add the app first and then create the account. This thing kind of does both, right? But then these are the only ones available as far as I know, right? This is the way it works. So they're all on there, I guess. We don't have to juggle apps on the Trezor, but we don't have hundreds of them, right? Now I think you might be able to store ERC20 tokens in here. So anyway, we started a Litecoin account and we want to receive, and like they said, they're going to give me a Litecoin address that starts with M, right? And then it wants me to check it on the Trezor. So if you notice, this is kind of cool. It shows it on the screen. Nice big, pretty big screen. And then there's the little touch screen check mark, right? So I can, and it's, because of my chroma key, it makes it look weird, but it is green, right? So I can just touch it. You can't really see that. And then now I can copy this Litecoin address. Whoops. Well, thought I could. I think I did it wrong. I just, okay. I'm going to confirm again. Going to copy. There we go. Now all we need to do is throw some Litecoin in there. So let's go over to Coinbase. If I can find it. There we go. I'm just going to do Coinbase to make it simple. And see, okay, look. When I go to my password manager and it's asleep and I haven't used it in a while, it allows me to use my fingerprint because I have a fingerprint reader. My fingerprint reader is like a $15 thing. a $15 USB device that I can use to scan in my fingerprint. See? Isn't that cool? Very cheap. And it works great with my password manager. So, Betty, I don't have to remember all my passwords. I just scan my fingerprint to wake the thing up. I do have to enter my master password when I reboot the computer, though. So it's not that convenient. Oh, Gustav sent me an email. Thank you, Gustav. Let's enter our two-factor authentication. All right, we'll go into Coinbase. And Litecoin's pretty cheap. So I'm going to use the debit option. Actually, I think I need to choose the coin first. Let's buy Litecoin. Let's choose debit because the debit option gives me an instant purchase. If I use the bank option, it takes like 2 or 3 days for the transaction to clear. That's no good. Right, so Litecoin is $32. So let me just buy one Litecoin. Right, let's just do it that way. It's going to charge me $34.91, and then I'll hit buy Litecoin instantly. All right, we'll confirm that. And there. It happened right away. See, that means that that little noise that I heard was my phone giving me an alert that my Litecoin is now available. Right? So we can go to Litecoin right here. See, that Litecoin is available right away. I buy Litecoin quite a bit. Now let's send it. Right? And let's try that address the Trezor gave me. Hey, they don't mind. Okay, so Bitcoin supports that new address format. The M format. There's an M and there's a L or whatever it is. So I didn't need to do that converting thing, right? And I'm just going to hit send max. Now, it may or may not let me send this whole Litecoin. Let's see what happens. Nah, it doesn't. All right, so I have to shave down a little bit. I'm going to shave it down to 75 and see if it lets me send it. Okay, it did. It's trying to calculate the mining fees on the Litecoin network. And sometimes it does it correctly, sometimes it doesn't. Right? So that's why it wouldn't let me send the full. I need a little bit of Litecoin to spare. Whoops. For my Litecoin network fees. Has nothing to do with Coinbase. All right, and let's go over to Trezor and see how long it takes for that Litecoin to appear. When I did the video on the Bitcoin, it happened really fast. Oh, there it is. Okay. So it's not quite one Litecoin, but it's close, right? And you see, that wasn't that hard to do, right? So if I want to buy a bunch of Litecoin on Coinbase, I can buy it and then just immediately send it to my own wallet. Why would I want to store it on Coinbase? It's a great platform for buying, maybe even trading, but I don't store any cryptocurrency on there. I always move it to my own wallet. So now the Trezor has, if we switch to Bitcoin there, see, we've got a little bit of Bitcoin, and then, you know, we can switch over to Litecoin. And we got a little bit of Litecoin in there. Interesting thing, though, if you remember, if we go to Ledger Live, for better or worse, Ledger Live will allow you to see the total value of your portfolio, right? So all the different coins that I have stored on my Ledger, I can look at the total value in one interface. But it doesn't look like it's working that way with Trezor. It looks like this one, I have to look at each wallet separately. I may be wrong, but I think that's what's happening. Also, Trezor, you know, if that's a weakness, it does have some other interesting features that I haven't tried yet, but it will work as a password manager. Now, I have a password manager built in that I have installed on my computer already, and it works well for me. And it also syncs up to my phone. So anytime I add a new password to the password manager on my computer, it'll show up in my phone. So if I'm somewhere else and I need my password, I can use my phone. But the Trezor password manager would be similar, I would think, to where you could store your passwords on the Trezor, and then if you're at a different location using someone else's computer, you could plug in the Trezor and have access to your stored passwords. So that's pretty nifty. And then you can label your accounts, enable labeling. I'm not a big fan of Dropbox, so I'm not going to do that. Dropbox is just too connected to everything. And then two-factor authentication. You can use 2FA with this device. You know, I use Google Authenticator, but there's another way to, it's called FIDO U2F, and it doesn't remember codes. It actually connects to a device, and the device has a unique signature. There's a YubiKey is like that. I probably lost my YubiKey now. No, here. A YubiKey is very similar to that. A YubiKey is like a hardware device that you have to, if like when I log into Chrome, it needs to read this. So it's a very, there's no way anyone can hack into my Gmail because they don't have this. I do. But the only problem with this is I could lose it, right? Then I'd be locked out of my Gmail forever. So that's kind of cool. So the Trezor can work as just like the YubiKey, as a 2FA two-factor authentication thing. You can save two-factor authentication. You go to your uncle's or your grandma's house for Christmas vacation. You want to log into your Gmail from her computer, but you've got two-factor authentication enabled. You just plug in your nifty little Trezor device, and it allows you to log into the account. Even, you know, the two-factor authentication goes with you. So that's cool, and it's safe and secure, right? Okay, let's see. We're still jamming. I've lost my window. Okay. All right. I clicked yes, got a new 24-word list. You don't need that new 24 list unless you're setting up a brand new wallet. There, you just stumbled onto the wallet initialization. Like I said, Glenn, just watch this video that I put a link to. It explains exactly what to do if you need to restore your ledger from your original 24-word recovery phrase. The new one that they gave you is just going to give you an empty wallet. And I'm assuming that's not what you want. You want your cryptocurrency that you had on there before. And that's using your old 24-word recovery phrase. Right? You can just disconnect it. While it's doing that, you know, like it's trying to get you to set up a new 24-word recovery phrase. Just disconnect it, reconnect it, and it's going to start over again. And the first question it's going to ask you is, do you wish to set up a new device? You say, no, I don't. And then after you say that, it'll say, do you wish to recover? And then you say, yes. And then put in your 24-word recovery phrase, and you'll get your wallet back. Don't worry about that new 24-word recovery phrase. That's just going to be a blank wallet. I hope this works for you, Glenn, but like I said, watch the video. I gave you your answer, so take a deep breath and watch that video, and you can restore it. Now, if you don't have your 24-word recovery phrase, I can't help you. You need the one that you wrote down when you first set up the ledger. You should have put that in a safe place. It's everything. That's your wallet. That's all your crypto right there. Just use it to restore onto the ledger, and you'll be back in business, baby. Not a care in the world. Everyone's pretty quiet tonight. Alex is next over here watching a video and I asked him to turn it down, and now you can hardly hear it. He was watching, what was the video you were watching, Alex? All over the world? Travel all over the world? Yeah. My son Alex is into maps. He is a map fanatic. He has us printing out United States maps. For every once or twice a day, we have to print him a new map so that he can draw it and color, and then uses scissors to cut all the states out. And then he puts them back together again. Let's see if I can find that. Some pictures. Yeah. So there's you can't really see it that well, but he cut out all the states and put them together on the table. So that's what he's been busy doing, and he's watching videos. Now he's moved on to the world. Right now he wants to. We bought him a world jigsaw puzzle, and it's coming tomorrow, and he's waiting with bated breath. And then Christabel has got her earphones on, and she's got her phone, and she's probably on Discord. So TikTok. She's, huh?
I'm on TikTok.
TikTok. Oh yeah, it's 7-second videos. She's been posting to TikTok. I don't even know what that is. Christabel is the one that told me about the egg. If you know about the egg.
It got the most likes on Instagram.
Uh-huh.
The most retweets on Twitter.
Wait a minute. Okay. Say it.
It got the most likes on Twitter. No, wait.
Instagram.
The most likes on Instagram, the most retweets on Twitter, and they're trying to get the most likes on YouTube.
Right.
For a non-music video.
Let's go here. So they wanted to beat Kylie Jenner's record of the most liked Instagram video, which she held for the picture of her newborn baby clutching her finger. And so they said, they posted a picture of an egg and said, come on guys, let's make this the most liked Instagram picture ever. And it won. It is now the most liked Instagram picture in history. And it's just an egg.
It's an egg.
It's
an egg. You can
egg.
even look it up if you want to.
Yeah, it's an egg.
Can teach, it can teach you.
Right. So all the marketing people are going nuts. Yeah, they're like, we've been marketing for years, and we never realized that all you really had to do was just ask people to like a picture, and they liked it. What a concept!
He donated $5.
Hey, Drian Lowe donated. Let's see. Does Drian Lowe? That's an anagram for donut, right? No, it's not.
That's Drian Lowe.
Drian Lowe. There's only one O, so couldn't possibly be an anagram of donut. That is one amazing egg, isn't it?
Yes.
It's incredible.
It did tag a lot of news stories. They tagged the most popular YouTuber.
Right. What's his name?
PewDiePie.
PewDiePie. Right. They tagged all the big social media personalities who sort of helped it gain momentum.
I'll watch your stream.
Okay. Christabel's going to watch my stream now.
Well, from your computer.
From my computers, yeah. She hasn't been that interested in my stream lately. Yes, let's send Alex over to nasa.gov. Yeah. nasa.gov.
NASA?
NASA.gov.
Oh.
Can you type that into his computer?
Hey, Alex, can I show you something?
We're going to show Alex nasa.gov. Hey, Drian. Oh, okay. Do you use Ledger Live, or can I keep my old Ledger wallets? Ah, okay. That's a good question, Drian. So if you'll notice, I'm using Chrome here at the moment because my YouTube runs better in Chrome. But I still have the old Ledger apps, right? So we were on Ledger a little bit I'm going to disconnect my Trezor. Let's plug the... I can plug the Ledger in a different port. NASA.gov. G-O-V. Let's connect the Trezor. Or I'm sorry. Let's connect the Ledger. And I'm going to put in my PIN. Thank you, Christabel.
Okay.
She helped her brother. All right. So I have the Bitcoin app installed on here already. Now see, the old Ledger Manager still works as an app, right? It wants me to connect the Ledger, and it tells me to go get Ledger Live, but I can still use it, right? Install Ledger Live later, and it takes me to the old Ledger Manager, the Chrome-based Ledger Manager, right? So we can still use it if we want to. And also, you'll notice here the Bitcoin wallet. So let's launch the Bitcoin wallet. I'm going to go into the Bitcoin. Right? And we'll go to Bitcoin. I think I've got this in Segwit. You can have multiple wallets. So it's going to sync up in there. See, there's a Bitcoin wallet there, and it's got some Bitcoin in it.
You have almost 1 Bitcoin.
No, I don't.
That's
I
not
almost have 0.01 Bitcoin. 0.01.
So if
or
you got 9
no, I'm
right-
sorry. It would be 0.1, which is 1/10.
Okay.
Yeah.
A tenth of
I almost have a tenth of a Bitcoin. When was this? 122. Not today. Yesterday. A couple days ago. So they still work, Drian. You can still use them. But a word of caution. There will come a time when Ledger will no longer support this. Right? And as time goes by, there will be more people attempting to crack this one and fool people into maybe using the wrong address. So one of the hacks before was I want to receive some crypto, right? And then the address is displayed. They've fixed it, haven't they?
Have they?
Oh, I clicked this button first. Right. And it sees the, it shows me the address, right? So they fouled that old hack, which was, what was happening was they were seeing on their screen the wrong address, right? It wasn't the address of the ledger. And so people were sending Bitcoin to attackers when they were trying to transfer Bitcoin into their ledger address. So Ledger has addressed that problem, but the longer this old software is around, the less and less Ledger will support it. And at some point, they won't support it anymore. And then maybe 2 or 3 years or 4 years down the line, Windows 10 will update to the point, and Chrome will update to the point where these apps don't no longer run right anymore. Right? This is what happens to old software that gets abandoned. If you don't, what?
Imagine trying to run like Windows XP on your computer.
That's right.
now.
You can't run Windows XP. There's no support for Windows XP anymore.
Unless
And
you use some sort of like fake computer.
you can use kind of an emulator. All right.
Migration.
Windows 7 migration warning is that in 1 year, Windows support will end, January of 2020. And then after that, there will be no more security updates. So this is the problem with using old, outdated software. Now, you're probably okay, Drian, using your Ledger Chrome-based apps for a while, right? It'll work, especially if you're using Windows 7 or Windows 8, because Ledger Live only runs in Windows 10. But my advice to you would be to go ahead and upgrade yourself to Windows 10 and run Ledger Live. So you'll be fully supported by Ledger, because they won't support these Chrome apps forever. But right now, you're okay. You can use the Chrome apps. They work just fine. They'll show you the same balance that you'll see in Ledger Live, right? If you go, I can see that same Bitcoin right here. Although the Ledger Live was telling me it was worth more. It was telling me it's worth more. I think that maybe, why is it worth 600 here? Yeah, that's incorrect as far as I know, right? It looks like it's just an erroneous. Let's find out how much 0.09 Bitcoin is really worth, right? Let's go to BTC.
Put 0.
Let's hit 0.09, and that is the real value. So as you can see, the Ledger Chrome app is giving me the wrong value of the Bitcoin. So I wouldn't trust it completely. But as you can see, the private keys, that doesn't affect the Bitcoin on here. It's still showing me the correct amount of Bitcoin. It's just not giving me the correct value of that Bitcoin, right? And we can go back to Ledger Live and get the right value. So my advice would be to upgrade to Windows 10 and run Ledger Live in the long run. But for now, you're okay. You can store your crypto in there using those apps. Calippo is saying the ETH Chrome app is cut. So I still have a copy of it, but it may not work anymore. Oh, I have to quit this. Let's try that again.
Ledger Live.
Okay, yeah, see, they don't even give you the option of not using it, right?
I don't want this.
So if you have Ethereum, then the Chrome app is not going to help you. But the Ethereum, you can store Ethereum on your Ledger by using MyEther Wallet, right? You have an interface. If you don't want to use Ledger Live for whatever reason, you don't want to use Ledger Live, you can use the Ledger-based. Right? I can do this. I have to exit and then go into Ethereum. Actually, it's not on here. Sorry.
By the way, Ethan is saying hi.
Oh, Ethan? Hi, Ethan. Hi,
Hi.
Krupka. Oh, is that your friend?
No.
Oh.
It's just someone.
Oh, I thought it was.
I just saw him say hi 2 times.
Ah, I see.
Seagull?
Oh, John. John's asking about that Trezor. I just mentioned that as far as I can see here, when you first set up the device, these are all the cryptocurrencies that it supports, right? And you can switch between them. So I can switch to Bitcoin. Oh. See, it doesn't. It doesn't like that. Let's see if it'll do it.
They can't see that.
Oh yeah. I don't think the Trezor likes the Ledger being attached. Oh no, there it went. Okay, it's back. So we can switch between cryptocurrencies pretty easily. I didn't need to install them. They were already there. So I didn't need to install apps like you do on a Ledger, right? They're just there, and they all work.
I still have 1 Litecoin.
Yes, I gave Christabel a Litecoin
Still.
a year ago, 2 years ago, and she still has it in a paper wallet.
Somewhere.
Yeah. Unfortunately, when I gave it to her, it was like $200, but now it's only worth $30. It might go back up again, right?
Might.
Yes. Drian, yes, you can use more than one Ledger in Ledger Live. If you'll notice here, I've set up accounts for different ledgers, right? So I've got the Bitcoin Ledger Black and the Bitcoin Ledger White, right? So I've got the white and I've got the black, And then I'm probably going to add the Ledger Nano X accounts too. So you can use the same copy of Ledger Live for multiple ledgers. The only thing is when you can view balances, but in order to send, you have to connect the right ledger before you send, which that makes sense, right? If I want to send crypto out of this ledger from Ledger Live, I have to have it connected. You can even connect them at the same time. Like if you have more than one USB port, which most people do, you can connect them at the same time and use them at the same time. But every now and then Live kind of gets a little confused about which one you're trying to access. And sometimes it'll tell you, oops, you have the wrong device attached. So you kind of have to like disconnect one to get the other one to recognize. But other than that, it's pretty seamless. You can use more than one ledger with Ledger Live. And then you'll notice too, the portfolio gives me the total balance on all the ledgers, right? Because it includes the Ledger Litecoin Black, the Ethereum White, the Bitcoin Ledger White, the Bitcoin Ledger Black. So it includes the total of all of those accounts, right? Yes. Been trying to VTO, yeah. Thanks for the info on C-Girl, Crypto Girl. Crypto Daughter, I think that was her handle at one point.
It's still my handle.
Oh, it's still her handle.
I haven't posted in forever.
Yeah, she hasn't posted in forever. Subs, but haven't received in yet. When do they show up? Oh, okay, so someone sent you some tips on Brave. Brave is a little bit flaky sometimes, but you know, you claim your channel, and once you claim your channel, and then you post your affiliate link, so you can earn in two different ways. You can post an affiliate link, and I don't know how they reward you anymore. They used to reward you when people downloaded Brave. I don't know if they're still doing that or not. But you can earn money from an affiliate link, maybe, and then you can still go and claim your channel or your Twitch or your website. And once you've done that and you've linked it, they will give you whatever people, when people watch your page or your channel in Brave, they'll reward you. Now, the tips thing I haven't worked out because I don't have a website. In fact, it's funny you brought that up, but I think I should be able to add a tip bar during my live stream. So I've been meaning to do that. I haven't. But generally, you know, you go to your... I had a link here somewhere. I think it's in the Brave browser. There's a Brave Payments link. And this is the link that you can use to access your Brave tokens. Ones that you own, right? The wallet is separate. The built-in wallet is a one-way wallet. So if the wallet this wallet that's got 324 BAT in it is, I can't withdraw that. I can use it to pay other people, but I can't withdraw it. But the Brave that they send me, you can get started and claim your page, which you probably have already done, and you said people have tipped you, and so I'm assuming you know how to log into your account. Whoops. They send you an email. You log in, and I have two-factor authentication on here. And I see my balance, right? And so you need to connect your wallet, and it's hard to see where all this is coming from. So, but you can do this view statement, but the statements are a little funky. You can import them into Excel, but they're kind of hard to read. But maybe that'll help you if you can figure out how to do that and then look at them that way. So, but also, let's see, Brave. I'll give you a contact if I can find it here. You might try Assad. He's a good guy. He's in their marketing department, and I've asked him questions before, and he's been very helpful. So if for whatever reason you're not seeing tips that you think you should be getting, let him know. And then they pay out every month on the 8th, right? Almost every month on the 8th. But sometimes you get all of it. Sometimes you get some of it. Sometimes there's a glitch and you have to wait till the next month. Sometimes there's a glitch and you have to wait till the next day. So, but they're good people, and they want to do right by you. So if there's a little problem, you might try just, oh, you sent me a tip like twice last week. Well, maybe that's part of my payouts. So if I look in there, maybe it shows you when I download my statement. Right? Say tip from Sailor to Life. Yeah. Could be that's part of it. Yeah. But that's cool. But thank you for doing that. But I hope that helped anyone that was interested in getting paid by Brave, because it's not a bad little income just for using Brave and claiming your tokens. Yeah, like $100 a month just in Brave tokens, and I just keep the BAT. I don't convert it to dollars. I just hold on to the BAT they give me, and it could be worth a lot someday. Huh. Probably will show up at the end of the month. Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm pretty close to. Sorry, I didn't do as much moving of crypto that maybe I would have liked to. I'll probably experiment a little bit more with the Trezor and show you guys how to operate it. But the one thing that stands out to me about the Trezor is that all the apps are already installed, so you don't have to juggle apps. And then if you want to deposit coins, you just like switch to it, right? And see, it automatically creates an account for me, right? And zeroes it out. So it makes it easy. And then I could add multiple accounts. Oh, okay. So once I put a little Zcash in here, I can add a second account. All right? Well, that's pretty cool. In many ways, it's got its pros and cons, but in many ways, kind of an improvement over the Ledger. But like I said, the Ledger will do thousands. But if you are storing an Ethereum private key, so they have their own, or you can go to MyEther Wallet and do the same thing. All right, so we can go to MyEther Wallet and sort of all these warnings, and let's do Trezor, right? Connect to Trezor. Okay, I'll just do it that way. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing here. Okay. Right. It's a zero balance, of course. And there you go. See, that's the public key of the Trezor, my Ethereum, and I could send some Ethereum in there. So we'll try it. I did, if you watched that video, I did the firmware update. It wasn't so bad. This thing was much easier. This guy, I had to go through this whole thing about connecting and reconnecting and holding the buttons and doing this weird stuff. to get the firmware updated. This one was fine. It asked me to confirm on the touchscreen, and it ran the firmware update, and everything was fine. I'm on both devices up to date on firmware, so it wasn't that bad. Yeah, Ledger has a lot of updates. Yeah, almost every week or so there's a new Ledger Live update. All right, guys. My daughter, there she is, Crypto Daughter. See? Yeah, that's my daughter. Okay, guys, thanks for joining me. I hope you got your questions answered. If not, maybe throw them up in the comments of the video. I usually check the video out the next day just to see what I missed and try to improve. Don't forget, every Friday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the live Q&A from LA, where I try to answer all of your questions to the best of my ability, talk about the news, move a little crypto around, kind of give you a feel. Just take it easy and relax. Don't get too stressed out when moving crypto. It's not rocket science. It's a little complicated, but it's not rocket science. You'll get it. Just follow along with me, and hopefully you'll get the hang of it. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. When you subscribe, there's a little bell that will allow you to be alerted whenever I post new content. Once again, thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you again soon. All right. They just welcomed me to live chat. That was weird. Okay, guys, have a good night.